Alright, my friends, welcome back. Casual Duelist. And like I said earlier this week, if you guys watched my Magician Girls deck, I'm going to be doing a bit of an Edmond one. And I sort of just left this one alphabetized. I didn't break it down to engines. So, let's just get started, get this through. And everybody who's here for the deck list, thanks for stopping by. First thing I'm going to run is I'm going to run a single copy of Arcfiend Eccentric. Again, this is part of just the pendulum thing I'm doing here. I am running 2 copies of Ash Blossom, not 3, just 2. That's all I had the space for this time around. If you want an extra one, or you don't want to run them at all, that'd be fine too. You could always switch them out for something easy like Effect Veiler. We are going to be using 3 copies of Edmond, the Mighty Master of Magic. Again, heavily based on the structure deck and support. We are going to be using a single copy of that Jester Confit. I did promise that. We're going to be running 3 copies of Magical Abductor, 2 copies Magister of Edmond. We're going to go into a little bit of a mythical beast kick here. We got a single Garuda, 2 Jackal Kings, and 3 Master Cerberus. This is just my favorite split. You guys can do it however you like. If you like just playing Jackal King and Cerberus, that's cool too. There's plenty of times I've just run those at 3 each. Back to the Edmond stuff, we're going to have 2 copies of Reflection, very fun card, and a single copy of Servant, because ban list reasons. And Spellbook Magician of Prophecy is going to make a comeback this week as well, because we do need to draw some cards, and there's no better way to get spell counters than a guy who literally grabs you a spell that can grab another spell to let you draw and possibly get more spells. So again, this deck gets out of control. Over to the spells. Again, we're not going to be running any traps. We are going to be running our Instant Fusion again, for obvious reasons. We are going to have 2 copies of the Field Spell, Magical Citadel of Edmond. We are going to have 2 copies, Continuous Spell, Mythical Institution. 3 copies, Pot of Desires, because awesome. 3 copies, Spell Power Mastery, because actually really good. We're going to double down on Knowledge and Secrets again. 2 each. Single copy Terraforming, single copy Upstart Goblin. Let's get over to that extra deck, shall we? Again, it's going to have 15 cards. This one's broke down the same way I always do. So real quick, the only Instant Fusion target we're going to be running today is the Millennium Eyes Restrict. No Thousand Eyes, guys. And we will be running the Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. Why are we running Vortex Dragon? Because we're running Odd Eyes Absolute in our Xyz slot. And why are we doing that? Because, plenty of rank 7 plays available to us. So it makes perfect sense to play the extension. Back over to our links, we're going to be playing Apollosa again. We are going to be playing our Boral Sword again. This week we got a single Cross Sheep in here. We're going to be rerunning Crowley, the First Prophecyr. I kind of wanted to play Daybreaker, so I put Daybreaker in here this time. Still going to run the single IP Masquerena, Cerberus, Phoenix, and Unicorn. And I maximized out Celine Queen of the Master Magicians. Now, you guys might not have 3 copies of this, and let's say you've only got the 1. That's fine, you could still play it. I like 3. But let's say you do, you've got 1 or 2. Well, you've got some options. You guys can go ahead and you guys can find your Thousand Eyes Restrict. You guys can place that in the deck. Again, you could go to Xyz. You could add some Xyz to the deck, or you could just play some more of your favorite links. But that is it. That is a 15-card extra deck. That is a 40-card main deck for the Edmond / Magician's Pendulum. It's not Pendulum Magician, obviously, but it's still fun. If you guys enjoyed this, if this helps you in any way, do consider subscribing to the channel. And let your friends, let your people that you play with at your locals, let your teammates know about the channel. Just get the word out there. And most importantly, and this is the one, if you don't do any of the other things, please do this one. Try to have a great day. Go do something that you enjoy. Watch some more videos. I got plenty of them for you. Got them broken down. You go back to my main page. You can check out the playlists. I've tried to organize it as best I can. So you can just watch a whole bunch of my videos or, cat videos or whatever floats your boat. Go get yourself a nice coffee, something. Go have a great day, all right? Don't let somebody ruin that for you. And class is dismissed for you guys. If you just came for the list, you're free to go. Go have fun. Everybody else, let's talk over the card choices and some of the effects that we may not know. And this deck has a few more. So the first one is that Archfiend Eccentric. So scale 7, power 8 by 1,000. As a scale, you can target one other spell trap card on the field, destroy both this and that, which means this will go back into your extra deck face up, which is fine. Now, as a monster, you contribute this card, then target a monster on the field to destroy it. You can only use this effect once per turn. It's literally there to help pop something. So, again, this is good against spell traps, or this is good as just a pendulum summon at every turn and just pop some stuff. Just kind of tech. It was just for fun. The Ash Blossoms, I think you guys are done hearing me talk about this. It stops a card from moving from the deck to somewhere. Okay, it's good. I like it. You want to run something else? Do it. Absolutely. 110%, my friends. Might I suggest Effect Veilers? Super cheap and still has a very relevant effect. Moving over to Edmond the Master Magician. Now, he is a 7. I think 7 is the highest we hit in this deck. Outside of maybe Cerberus. Cerberus might be an 8. To that end, his scale is an 8, which means good things for us. And now, as a scale, you can remove 6 spell counters from your side of the field, special summon this from the Pendulum Zone. Then count the number of cards you control that have a spell counter. Destroy up to that many cards on the field, and if you do, place spell counters on this card equal to the number of cards destroyed. You can only use this effect once per turn. So, you remove 6 counters from your side of the field. And if you have 7 cards that can hold counters that are currently holding counters, then you get to destroy up to that many cards. So again, like if you have 7 different cards that can hold them that are holding cards, you get to destroy up to 7 cards. This guy can wipe a field. Additionally, he will get a counter for every counter that was tallied that way by cards that carry, because that's the cards he destroyed. So again, let's use 7 as the number. If you were only able to destroy 6, he gains 6. That's fine. It's a break even for your side of the field. If he did break 7, you paid 6 to get him on the field. So you went from 13 to 7. You went ahead. You played him. He had 7 targets. He was able to destroy 7 cards. Gets it. That's fine. If there was only 5 he could destroy, then he only gets to reap 5. Very cool. Now, as a monster, once per turn, when a spell, trap, or effect is activated, quick effect, you can return 1 card you control with a spell counter to your hand, and if you do, negate the activation, and if you do that, destroy the card. So if you got a card that can only hold 1, like, I'm not saying to play Breaker in this deck, but Breaker would be great for tossing back all the time, because you could just replay him, he'd get his counter, and then you're reloaded with your negate every time. The rest of his effect, then you can place the same number of spell counters on this card that the returned card had. This kind of makes sure that you don't lose your spell counters. While this card has a spell counter, your opponent cannot target it with card effects, and it cannot be destroyed by opponent card effects. When this card with a spell counter is destroyed by battle, you can add 1 normal spell from your deck to your hand. Fantastic card. And 2800 power puts him as a boss level, so very cool. Jester Confit, we're here to generate cards on the field, and really this is for our link plays. Jester Confit here. You can only control 1 at a time. Special summon this card from your hand in attack position. If summoned this way during the opponent's next end phase, target a face-up monster they control plus this. Return both cards face-up. Return both cards to the hand. So, fantastic. I'm not using it as much in this deck. I know that with the Magician Girls, I ran it at 2. Today, we just need the 1. Magical Abductors, also very good. And again, this is going to set our scales between summoning all the 4, 5, 6s, and 7s in our deck. We got the scale 3. Hey, each time a spell card is activated, place a spell counter on this card when that spell resolves. Once per turn, you can remove 1 spell counter. Remove 3 spell counters from this card. Add 1 pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. This is important because this allows us to tutor just about anything in our deck. So that's fantastic. As a monster, each time a spell is activated, place a spell counter on this on resolution. Gain 100 attack for each spell counter on it. Once per turn, remove 3 spell counters from this. Add 1 level 1 spellcaster from your deck to your hand. Still cool, but this will allow you to get Jester Confit to your hand. So that's also very fun. Magister of Edmond. Again, this is going to take us up to with a Pendulum Scale 8. As a scale, each time a spell is activated, give it a counter on resolution. Remove 3 counters from this card. Special summon both this from your Pendulum Zone and a face-up monster from your extra deck that you can place a spell counter on. And if you do, place a spell counter on each card. So this would be another great way to go ahead and summon our Edmond. And then him and Edmond both have a spell counter. And because they both have a spell counter, Edmond can't be destroyed or targeted by opponent card effects. And he can use the Magister to throw back into your hand as a single negate. Which means that you could then choose to place this bad boy back into your scales. Which also activates as a spell activation. So that's kind of self-feeding and awesome. Again, too, he's very searchable with a Magical Abductor. And the Spell Power Mastery, as we will get to here in a little bit. Let's give you the monster effects real quick. You can only special summon Magisters of Edmond once per turn. When this card declares an attack, place a spell counter on it once per turn. Quick effect, you can remove 3 spell counters from your side of the field. Special summon a monster from your deck that you can place a spell counter on. If this card in the monster zone is destroyed, you can place this card into the Pendulum Zone. Then place the same number of spell counters on it that it had as a monster. So again, we can get Edmond. Like, this is a very important card. And again, just because of searchability, I went with 2. Again, if you don't have Garuda, you could always bump this one up to 3. You'd be fine in doing so. But I kind of like Garuda, so I went with 2. To let you know what Garuda is going to do, and in fact, all of our mythical beasts are going to set our scale at 4s. Again, Cerberus is going to be an 8-star, so he's kind of left out, but we have a different way to play him anyway. Garuda as a scale, if you have no card in the other Pendulum Zone, you can target one other spell trap on the field, destroy it and this, using this effect only once per turn. This is really good if you need to MST something. As a monster, each time a spell is activated, place a counter on this, 1 spell counter obviously, on resolution. When your opponent normal or special summons monsters accept damage step, remove 3 from your side of the field, special summon this from your hand, and return that opponent summoned monsters to the hand. We are going to use this as a very weird hand trap, and I love it. And I love the fact that Edmond allows us to just keep putting this back in the hand. This is the real reason I love this card, and I think it works. I think it works very well for this. Next up would be the Jackal King as a scale. If you have no other card in your other zone, you can destroy this, and if you do, special summon a face-up Mythical Beast Pendulum from your extra deck, except same name. Use this effect only once per turn. He is the second portion of the loop to get Cerberus to the field when you have just Cerberus in your hand. Now, as a monster and as a tribute summonable Mythical Beast, he's going to gain 2 counters on every spell resolution when a monster. Once per turn when an opponent activates a monster effect. As a quick effect, you may remove 2 spell counters from your side of the field, negate, and destroy. So very cool, very lockdown, very control, love it. And then Cerberus, again, we maximized him because we want to see him. So again, if you have no other card in your other scale, you can destroy this, and if you do, add a level 7 or lower Mythical Beast effect monster from your deck, boop. And then you can only use this effect once per turn. The point here being you will play the Cerberus first. You will destroy the Cerberus. You will go ahead and get the Jackal King. You will play it in the scale, destroy it, to place the Cerberus now onto the field. Now that you have Cerberus boarded on a 1-card combo, peep the effect. Each time a spell card is activated, place 2 counters on it. Amazing, we love it. Cannot be destroyed by card effects while 4 or more spell counters are on your field. Not just on him, your entire side of the field. Once per turn, you can remove 4 spell counters from your side of the field, then target a monster your opponent controls, banish it, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to the banished monster's original attack until the end of the opponent's turn. So we can do this again, like it says, as a quick effect. Wait, I'm making that up. Yeah. So that's only during your own turn. I don't know what I was thinking. I was looking at the Jackal King over here, and I just saw the word quick effect, and for some reason I wanted to cheat. But you use this. You go ahead. You do some spot removal. Again, you should have a Jackal to help back you up. Again, you will note that the 6 stars helps to line up evenly with the Edmond scales of 3 and 8. So you should be able to replay him. No worries. Cerberus, good card, great card. 2 copies Reflection. This is going to be another 7 for you. As a scale, this one's actually going to be a 2, which actually lets in some of those 4s and 3s. Each time a spell is activated, place a counter on this during resolution. Remove 3 counters from this. Special summon both this and 1 monster from your hand that can have spell counters. And if you do, give them each a spell counter on summoning. Again, this is another excellent way to board Edmond. As a monster, you can only special summon these once per turn. If this card is special summon, target 1 card your opponent controls and 1 that you control with a spell counter. Except this card. Return the opponent's card and your card to the hand and place the same number of spell counters that your card had onto this. When this card with a spell counter is destroyed by battle, you may add 1 Edmond card from your deck to your hand. Very good, very tutor. It'll go back to the top of the extra deck. We can go ahead and play it again. And this is one of the things that's going to let us set up the rank 7 plays. Remember, you do need to remember you have Odd Eye's Absolute Dragon. Servant of Edmond, another scale 2. Probably the most important scale 2 of the whole deck. As a scale, when a spell is activated, gain counter on resolution. Remove 3 counters. Special summon this from the Pendulum Zone. And 1 monster from your deck with 1,000 or more attack that you could place a spell counter on. This is absolutely destroyed and broken. This will even let you play Master Cerberus or even the Jackal Knight immediately. Sorry, Jackal King. Or you can play your Edmond just immediately. And again, give them each a spell counter. This is probably the best card, and that is the reason it's limited. As a monster, you can only special summon these once per turn. This card with a spell counter on it can attack directly. Once per opponent's turn, quick effect, discard 1 card, place a spell counter on each card that you control that can have a spell counter. If this card in the monster zone is destroyed, you can place this into your Pendulum Zone, then give it the same number of counters it had as a monster. Absolutely, utterly broken, and I'm not too sure why Konami even lets us have 1. I'm glad. I'm going to run it till the day this deck is done. And then again, you got Boy Blue. So when it says normal or flipped face up, add a spellbook spell from deck to hand. And again, this deck is all about playing a bunch of spells in rapid succession. So it's not a bad idea to just go ahead, summon them real quick. Go ahead and play your spells through. We are going to use the Instant Fusion. That's for the Millenniumizer Strict because we didn't exactly have the space for Called by the Grave again. We could have just put Called by the Grave in the deck and just not run the Millenniumizer Strict. I like the Millenniumizer Strict because it kind of lends into I can still use it once it sucked something up as a hand trap catcher. I can still link climb, and that's the real reason I use it. I am using 2 copies Magical Citadel of Edmond. Every time a spell is activated, place a counter on this during resolution. When a spell with spell counters is destroyed, place its counters onto this once per turn. If you would activate a card effect by removing counters from a card you control, you may remove that many from this instead. If this would be destroyed, you can remove a spell counter from it instead. It's very semi-permanent and it will stay around. So it's very cool. We did grab 2 copies of the Mythic Institution. Again, this being a continuous spell is not going to clash with our field spell. Each time a face-up Mythical Beast Pendulum monster cards is destroyed by battle or card effect, place 2 spell counters on this once per turn. Remove any number of spell counters from my side of the field. Add a monster to my hand from my deck or face-up extra deck with a level equal to the number removed. Then I can place a spell counter on it. So, reread that one more time, my friends. Once per turn, remove any number of spell counters from my side of the field. Add a monster from my hand or to the hand from the deck or the face-up portion of the extra deck with a level equal to the number of cards removed that you can place a spell counter on. That's actually really good, guys. You can add any one of your cards. For the most part, you can add any card from your deck. It's just fantastic. And then again, if this would be destroyed by card effect, you can remove a spell counter from it instead. Whatever. This is another great way of just getting extra tutors off. That's all that is. Pots of Desire, again, we don't really care too much about the deck. Once you want to get into the strategy, most of the cards that you need are searchable or at 3. So Pot of Desires is going to banish 10 from your deck face down and then let you draw 2. Your extra deck's just too important to be using Prosperity or Extravagance right now. So unfortunately, we got to hit somewhere to get those draw cards, and the deck is the option. Spell Power Mastery, good card, great card. Add 1 Edmond card from deck to hand. Then count the number of Spell Power Masteries and Grasps that are either on your side of the field or in the graveyard. Place that many spell counters among cards you control that you can place a spell counter on. So that's pretty awesome. Additionally, it's a spell card, guys. You're going to get counters on all those cards anyway. And then, of course, you got your knowledge for the draw 2. You got your secrets to get to your draw 2. You got terraforming for your field spell. And you got Upstart Goblin for an extra draw / being a spell. So, like, the main deck is actually fairly simple. But there's a lot of tech tricks in here, which I think make it way more fun. The extra deck, one more time. Millennium Master Strict, called by the Grave that walks. Vortex Dragon, when it's special summon, target a face-up attack position monster your opponent has, return it to the hand. When a spell, trap, or another monster's effect is activated, quick effect, shuffle a face-up pendulum from your extra deck back into the deck, negate, and destroy that card using this effect, each effect once per turn. So again, once we play the Odd Eyes, we get rid of the Odd Eyes, we go into this, we get another bounce, and then we get another card that can start negating things. How do you get the Odd Eyes Absolute? 2 level 7s. What do you do when you have it? When any player's monster declares an attack, detach material from this, negate the attack, then you can special summon 1 Odd Eyes from a hand or graveyard. If this Xyz summoned card is sent to the graveyard, special summon an Odd Eyes. So literally, play it and link it. It's so easy. Apolos is here to negate monster effects. Boral Sword's here to jump over things that are really big. Cross Sheep is going to do us a little bit of a favor here. Because we do have that fusion in here, and we do have Xyz. So if we fusion summon to a point that this is pointing to, we get to special summon 1 level 4 lower monster from our graveyard. And if we Xyz all monsters our opponent controls lose 700 attack. These are both really cool effects. And so we will use these. We do use Crowley. Again, when you play this guy, when this guy's link summoned off 2 spellcasters, reveal 3 spell books with different names, so you got your 2 spells and your 1 monster. No matter what, you're going to get to your draw 2, so thanks, opponent. That's really the whole point here. Additionally, each turn, 1 level 5 or higher spellcaster that we normal summon can be summoned without attributes. So read that again. Level 5 or higher, no tribute. So what do we have that's level 5 or higher? Does that mean we could just play Edmond? It does mean that we could just play Edmond. Does it mean that we could just play Jackal King? Yeah, of course. Same thing with Cerberus? Yeah. You want to play Edmond or the Reflection of Edmond for free? Do it. Those all become normal summons as though they were a level 4. So the first Prophecyr, kind of amazing. Again, just a single. I did want to run Daybreaker just because I think he looks sweet. 2 spellcasters. If this is link summoned, place a spell counter on it, gains 300 per spell counter on it. You can only activate each of the following effects once per turn. If a spellcaster monsters is summoned to his own zones this points to, place a counter on it. Remove 2 counters from this, target a card on the field, and destroy it. So he's got a little bit of spot removal. He does gain some power. He's kind of cool looking. You guys could totally tech him out if you want. Again, IP Masquerade, mess with the opponent during their turn. What's best to do that? The Nightmares, Cerberus, Phoenix, and Unicorn. And then Celine. We maximized Celine at 3. Why did we do that? Well, let's read it. So this is a link 3. We do get 2+ monsters, including a spellcaster, to make it. If this is link summoned, Place spell counters on it equal to the number of spells on the field and in the graveyards, which is kind of amazing. When an Edmond cards is on the field, your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attacks. Once per turn during the main phase, quick effect, you can remove 3 counters from this, special summon a spellcaster from your hand or graveyard in defense position to your zone this card points to. So again, there's a lot of resurrection, which allows us to do some other plays and other builds. And honestly, just get fun with it. I mean, there's no rule about what you're allowed to bring back. You can bring back other links and keep regenerating them, which would allow you to play Daybreaker more than once. You could be able to play Crowley more than once. Boy Blue could be played back again and can be used as the ignition fodder for another Spellbook of Knowledge. There's plenty of plays. And again, this is a very fun deck. I really did enjoy playing this one. I hope that you guys enjoyed listening to all of that as much as I enjoyed playing it. I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys enjoyed this. Seriously, one thing, just have a good day, guys. I'll see you guys on the next video. And yeah, that's it. Just have a great day, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Later.